Network.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the Moonduck coverage of the Royal Arena group stages. Here we've got another Group A match, the last day of Group A. In fact, we're going to have a best of two between Imperial and Allusions. This is going to be one to remember here. I'm Android, being joined by Motpax. How you doing this morning?
I am just doing quite well. How are you doing? No one ever asks the play-by-play caster.
Well, I just have
that
so
just
many
came
feelings.
to me. Yeah, that really just occurred to me right now. How are you?
I woke up and made a lot of coffee, and now we're casting some Dota.
That sounds very familiar to my current situation. So excellent, good. We're on the same page.
Speaking of familiar, we've got a Kunkka Shadow Demon pickup for Illusions already, but Imperial grab up the Io Bat. Oh boy, we are in for some fun drafts.
Yeah, this is some good stuff, right? Total what? Our nerf hammer here, nothing too crazy. The flame break duration isn't too big of a deal, or the flame break change rather isn't such a big deal. And then the shadow demon, that's pretty big. The whole illusion meta. I think you still build illusion cores and stuff, but at least the whole strategy itself is a little bit weaker. And then Kunkka, we've kind of gone on about his little level 1 torrents a little bit weaker too, but good hero. X is excellent up against Batrider. Obviously, Disruption works very well in place of something like an Oracle if you don't have him on your team up against the lasso. Worth noting, Oracle's still in the pool. Oh, they're actually still going to ban it. That's interesting. It does close out some offlaners, but of course, when you already have an IO on your team, I guess they could just went like some weird Huskar strategy, but generally you just ban Huskar. More often we'll see, I think, something a little bit more aggressive in terms of the 4 for Imperial.
I'm excited to see what Imperial combo this Wisp with. Like you mentioned, Batrider took a little bit of a nerf, but he's still all good. Are we going to see, you know, like a core Centaur with an IO tethered to him? Are we going to see some crazy, like, fancy double mid stuff? We saw a tiny Wisp the other day. That was fun.
Yeah, some back to the basics. But
that's like old shit.
If there's anything we know, it's that Imperial loves Centaur. He's not banned yet. The Shadow Demon from Illusions is already there, so sadly, obviously, Imperial don't have that kind of an option going on here with their little Centaur play. But IO Centaur, it's great, right? Damage reduction further, and you always build that Hood of Defiance anyway on top of the Centaur too, so he gets that reduced self-magic damage if he's like tethered and whatnot and taking even more reduced damage. Basically, just free, ridiculous splash burst damage coming out. So there he is.
Again,
Imperial
I called
Dota,
one.
guys.
It's not that hard, though, considering they've picked it up in every game we've seen them in, and they have a hero that plays it. 50 Centaur. Okay. All right, Slardar picked up for Illusions. That's getting back to that old, you know, negative armor strat. Just go in, hold the offlane, pick up that Blink Dagger, and then you have a ton of teamfight control. Illusions, they've now got Crush, they've got Disrupt, they've got X into Torrent. There's a lot of positioning tools here for the Radiant.
Yeah, always going to be important up against the IO2 to have good initiators as well, just in case, like, you'll often see a core solo farming off to the side of the map. IO is shadowing him, following him along through the tree line. And then if the enemy team is trying to come on and make some sort of a play, right? IO wants to hop on in, relocate you out, sacks the IO, blah, blah, blah. Slider is very nice for trying to chase them down. Quick stuns and whatnot. Might be able to grab the IO too in some of those situations. If you have double initiators, he can like kind of hunt in behind too, using like the very fast move speed, jump into some of those trees, try and find that IO, because it's such a typical play. You'll see people who are on their sliders just really starting to get on the ball to hunt down that IO. Sneaking through the back lines, but next pick for them. Still rocking the one last support to go. They have the final pick, so they will save that for their mid. The Lion.
What do you think jives well here? I'm assuming we're going to see IO Centaur comboed up and kind of that roaming Lion, but could it be a roaming Wisp and a laning Lion?
They have a couple different options. They could do. They are dire side, so the whole IO Batrider isn't quite as common. You usually see it coming from the Radiant.
Yeah.
But it could happen on the off lane. I think it would be more likely they might go back towards like that Bristleback. Even though it's similar to Centaur Warrunner, it wouldn't totally shock me if they did that. But some sort of like a dual off lane could be good. They get to see the final picks here from Illusion, so that'll fully sync what they want to do, right? And they can just figure out what they feel is best. Is it some sort of a dual mid with the IO? Is it a dual off lane and then a solo mid? Right, all those fun things. So I guess Illusions have to figure out, well, we have the next two picks in the draft. What do we see on the enemy side? Super tanky Centaur Warrunner, Good control from the Lion and the Bat Rider. Pretty good initiation overall. Not the best escape other than Stampede.
Yeah, I mean, they can definitely punish. There's not a whole lot of follow-up here. Once Imperial kind of drop their initial set of spells, they might be a little bit out of gas. They still need to pick up a core, something that jives well with that Shadow Demon, illusion-based meta, the Kunkka. So, you know, Terrorblade,
And our best friend
Juggernaut.
Slardar,
Yeah,
too.
those are the two that come to mind for me, TB and Jug.
Yep. If in terms of like stats, and Morphling as well is also still in there. Natural Lincoln's Builder against the Lion and the Bat Rider, but that could be a good reason. The other one would be we could always go back for our Life Stealer. He's very good against Centaur Warrunner with the Feast. Does quite a bit of extra damage thanks to that high HP pool. It'll be Jug for now. That does also keep it so I suppose they could think about running him mid. He's pretty safe when you don't know the matchup. There is also Invoker too, though, so I wouldn't mind like an Invoker mid and a Jug safe lane, just because Invoker can kind of adjust to a bad lane mid and still give you like some Sunstrike potential to go on with your Slardar. But I kind of like Jug mid, Lifestealer safe, but I'm not sure what Illusions pick.
The only reason I'm not sure about Lifestealer is because we usually see him picked up with a really nice Vessel, and Slardar's alright once he gets his Blink Dagger, but still not as great as a Bat Rider, not as great as a Riki, or a Bounty Hunter, so I'm a little bit hesitant to call out the Lifestealer. I think they might want to go with something a little bit ranged, because right now they're all just big melee dudes.
I think most importantly it's about the lane, so I guess the Jug will probably just do it anyway, because like the benefit of Lifestealer is that he can just rage and get rid of those napalm stacks. Of course, we can just do it with a spin on the Jug, so that makes him pretty good in these situations with the Shadow Demon as well, since he's like your stack core too. Hawk Ban out. Okay. Would have been all right. They are lacking a little bit in damage. You might want someone else who right clicks.
So someone that's mid, someone that right clicks, someone that maybe has some range going for themselves. I mean, OD would be great. Too bad Illusions took him out first in the pool.
There is still like a Storm. I don't know how much help he'll get. It's kind of scary when you don't know what matchup's coming as well. They'll actually ban the Invoker.
Alright, so they're scared of that continued lockdown. Yeah, they need something that can deal with the Ultra Tank, something with a decent amount of burst. I don't know.
Scary picking a mid into IO +1 when you don't know what the +1 is as well.
Let's say Venomancer.
I mean,
it works.
He's a decent hero. There's a lot of problems they could run into depending on if they pick someone a little bit squishier or a poorer laner. So someone like the Puck would have been really nice because it's a classic hero to go up against an IO +1. The other ones would have been like Bristleback, who isn't going to be very good with their whole lineup overall. If you think about minus armor strategies, PA is pretty weak in this situation.
What about like a Dragon Knight?
That would be a little bit of a someone we haven't seen too much. Wouldn't hate him though. I'm always down for some Dragon Knight. Okay, this is pretty much the other, like, can lane against anyone, right? Dominate the mid lane. Works well with the minus armor from the Slardar. Is survivable up against IO +1.
Yeah, if he's ganked though, he doesn't have a whole lot of escape. He's fast. He's very fast and does eventually pick up phase boots. But you know, if he just gets surrounded upon, if Lion hits the Earth Spike, if there's a Hex to follow up, if they bring in, you know, Io to just go slap him around with spirits, I don't know if Razor's that survivable, especially in the early levels. So it's going to be interesting to see who they put against him here. Imperial, with their last pick, they've definitely got something in mind, and we are going to see 50 seconds left in that reserve time, and I think Allusions are pretty curious about this one as well.
Yeah, overall, nothing too bad for a Razor in mid. Like, he generally does well against everyone, so that's nice. The question comes to the IO +1. I think you would want to try and abuse that. Even with a Tiny, it's going to be hard to get kills up against the Razor, but it's certainly possible. And with rotations coming in from like the Lion, you can just toss him up. Well, that's the thing with Io, right? Like, whenever Io is nearby, he can just park himself under the tower, and it forces Razor away from the wave. So something like that could be good. I wouldn't hate that. What else have they been up to lately? Of course, they do their cheeky little stuff with Baby Knight, right? They do their sniper. It's kind of common.
You know, that actually wouldn't be super terrible, but they're gonna go with a Warlock.
Is that a core lock? I haven't seen one of these. Everyone's a support one.
Oh, baby.
All right.
Baby Knight Warlock. We're gonna see our big spooky boy in the mid lane going up against Razor. I mean, we don't have a whole lot to go on in terms of stats, but how do you think that matchup's going to go?
Assuming he does speaking of stats, the stats W build where you only tank yourself up and you put points into your heal thing, it should go very well. Warlock is definitely a lane dominator when he goes that build, even up against someone like the Razor, and he can just build right into a hand of Midas more than likely.
Ooh, how does that scale? Because obviously we've seen, our Ace Centaur, he builds very, very tanky, he builds survivable, he's going to get a lot of health, a lot of armor. Batrider is going to take care of a little bit of damage. Lion can help out there with his nukes. But how does Warlock kind of match up in the mid game against traditional damage dealers like the Juggernaut, the Slardar, the Razor?
Definitely going to be timing based, right? That's the one thing that's going to matter the most to the side of Imperial. I would think that we're going to see a lot of space making around the map between the Batrider, Centaur, and then just like the Lion and the Eye. Those 4 heroes. One of the best parts about Lion is that he can add in that little bit of burst, some extra damage when you're lacking in some situations, and all that control too. So then they just kind of play the whole game around the ultimates. Just chaotic offering, head in for objectives, try and get Roshan is going to be a little bit tough for their lineup, so that's kind of a slight maybe worry for them. But once again, the Aghanim Scepter, and if you do like the Midas strategy, you can get it so quick that it's actually terrifying.
Ooh,
I mean, what are you going to do when this guy has Aghanim Scepter at like 22 minutes?
So all of a sudden there's just golems running down for you, for your family, for your friends. Ugh. Alright, so we've got a nice little ward here placed down by the Wisp, and that's going to scout out the entire Radiant movement bottom, so Dire feel pretty safe going in for this top rune. Baby Knight starts out with that Bassi. I like the little extra bit of mana regen and just a little bit more stats going for him. And of course we've got Ace on our Centaur, going to be tethered up. We're going to have Zero kind of grouping around, so this is going to be a tri-lane, or is Lion going to spend most of his time roaming?
That definitely comes down to our Slardar. He is starting with laning items, so he doesn't have any vision inside of his lane. Lion will just have to make the call depending on what's happening there. I'm really curious to see if Baby Knight does do the full W Shadow Word build. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. But
all right, now he's still hanging on to the point, hasn't skilled up stats, hasn't picked up the W. I've also seen mid Warlocks go for a couple points in the Fatal Bonds, especially for more slippery mids that they go against that don't necessarily spend time in the wave, like the Puck, like the OD, like the Sniper heroes that sit back pretty far. So we'll see what they're going to be going for here, but I'm very curious to see. I love Razor in the mid lane. Just love me a Corlock, but these guys going up against each other, this could have some problems here. Kunkka's going to be coming in, the Torrent not going to latch, but still some decent harass coming out of the Razor lane at a very short range static link, but extra damage nonetheless, making it pretty hard for Baby Knight to go in last hit.
yeah, good thing he has his eye out here to help out. Now there is our bottle. And I guess bottom lane, Batrider has totally abandoned. He has the boots first, so he brought some things for laning, but Batrider's okay with just heading to the jungle early on. Sadly, at very early levels, like level 1, it's a little bit rougher, right? You only have sticky napalm. It's definitely possible. We've seen like position 4 bats do this from like Kuroki, where you just straight up start jungle and whatnot, but certainly not the dream. And I guess his concern is just, until you have a good angle or something, if the wave's not in a spot where your Firefly is going to save you, then you're just going to get disrupted into spin and die. So, Rise, nope, sad he's not going to go for it.
Right,
a little bit close. Jeez, look at the Shadow Word spam. This is actually the worst.
Yeah, I mean, that's only level 1 Shadow Word. He's just having some fun with that. He's not going to grab stats. Instead, does get that Fatal Bonds. Again, if you've got, Kunkka just hanging in the wings, if you've got Razor in a similar situation to where he is now, where he's low health, not going up to XP range, not going up to wave, I mean, if you have a Fatal Bonds on this guy, you can definitely get him down just by right-clicking creep waves.
Yeah, the whole, stat shadow where we haven't seen that too much, I don't think, since March, honestly. Then again, we also haven't seen mid-Morlock that much since March either. In a situation like this, when you have a buddy, again, you don't necessarily need the stats. Why would he need stats right now when Razor's not even coming to the wave, right? Like, all that matters is casting W on him every time he shows up. There's no chance for retaliation.
Oh, Hesta Joe.
DD.
Yeah, he's going in. There's going to be 3 stacks of napalm, and it looks like our Kunkka's on fire, but this bat... He goes in. He's not too scared of all those illusions coming after him. So now he's going to be going on to Archie here, a little Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon stops to eat a tree. Kunkka comes back in, even though he's low. Hesta Joe, can he find anything here? There's going to be a TP in. Meanwhile, mid lane, Baby Knight scores first blood by killing off the Razor, but I want to see if Hesta Joe gets out of this. There's no X on the Kunkka. He's only level 1. There's going to be that sprint on the Slardar in 10 more seconds. Now with the Wisp coming in, Hesta Joe going to be looking to find something here, but the Torrent does connect after a nice little crush here from our Slardar. Hesta Joe, he's getting healed up. They are able to kill off the Shadow Demon. Looks like the Razor's going to be coming back in after respawning. Hesta Joe so low, but looks like there's Napalm here, and they have the Shadow Word as well. Oh god, the Slardar goes down. Now we are going to have our Razor stealing up a ton of damage from our Warlock, but Baby Knight should be able to get out okay from this. So in the end, Batrider was not punished for such an aggressive rotation, instead forcing rotations of his own and getting 2 kills for it.
Yeah, there's a reason Batrider is probably the most notorious feeding offlaner, I think you would say. Like some of the people who play it the most, like Moon, of course, known for being so aggressive. ROTK played it quite a bit in Ohio, probably one of the most popular ones. But yeah, you got to make those big plays on Batrider. That's the kind of stuff that if you can live through that like initial stun or the initial burst of damage that tends to come out from supports, you can just run all over them. Damage just lasts so long on that Firefly, stacking up through those stacks, sticky Napalm. So very well played by Hesta Joe Rotten. Good rotations coming through as well, and now up 3-0. They should have... Oh, actually, Razor's going to get the 4-minute rune, possibly? All right, good stuff.
He's going in.
No, he's not. It's like, get away from this rune.
Oh, now he's going to be going in. Do they have anything there to help him out? Do they have anything to cast that Shadow or Fatal Bonds on? They're not going to be able to go ahead and latch it onto the Kunkka, but that's going to be Razor just sitting back. He has to play so safe right now.
Nice save.
Yeah,
they actually disrupt him to reduce the damage, and then he salves twice.
Well, first one he accidentally went right before that last tick of Fatal Bonds, so.
I think it was to live. He was close to dying.
He was very close to dying, but again, the disrupt bought him a little bit of time. He burned through a lot of regen there, so Warlock is having some fun. Again, now 3 points in Shadow Word. That is a lot of damage coming back out. They might even be able to go in and finish off this Razor. Baby Knight walking back, but it's not really the amount of damage, it's just the amount of hits. There's going to be Baby Knight torrented up. Wisp coming back in, though. Nice short-range spirits. They do get the tether off onto Baby Knight. He's going to go for the self-heal. And now they're looking to turn things onto the Kunkka. And again, slapping out onto the Shadow Demon. So this is a very well-controlled mid lane. Imperial, they've got this on lock. Razor just barely getting out with his life again. I mean, that was just a couple of right clicks and another Shadow Word. Now up top, our Centaur is going to be able to take out the Slardar, so things are not going so great for Illusions right now.
Now Batrider as well, chasing down Archie.
Yeah, he's going to be level 4, though, so no lasso. Doesn't have that flame break either to force him back, so he's just going to be able to walk underneath the tower. Batrider stops and napalms some creeps, but this could be a rotation here onto our Razor, who's pushed up. I mean, he's not even that far out, but Hesta Joe goes in. There's no mercy here. Our poor Razor will be going down, so he's been killed off twice. He's been forced back to base twice. He just hasn't been able to spend a whole lot of time in lane. He's got 15 last hits to the Warlock's 25. Overall net worth is not looking too hot. He's actually behind the support Wisp.
Yeah, that was a little bit unusual, right? You have a Batrider chasing your support down low into the tower, and then you still stick in an area where Batrider comes in, you're just dead. So, I don't know, maybe just missing some communication, underestimating the speed of the Batrider, perhaps. Tranquil boots are pretty sneaky.
Look at this stack up top here. There's going to be the Centaur, though, perhaps punished. Will Ace get to actually farm up the fruits of his labor here? There's going to be the Disrupt coming through, but that doesn't have time for Wisp to go in. He's going to just stampede. Meanwhile, mid, there's another kill onto the Kunkka, but up top, they're looking to just rip apart these two heroes. They get the Slardar. Easy double edge there. Secures the Shadow Demon as well. And with a little more healing, it looks like they should be able to take on this quad stack in this hard camp.
All right, nicely done. I liked it. The ulti out of the disruption to try and avoid the slithering crush. Pretty impressive stuff here. Quick thinking from Mr. 50 Centaur Ace. Best pseudonym ever, I guess.
He just drops his Vanguard on the ground. Like, fuck that thing. All right, here we go. He's picked up that Vanguard. He's super tanky. No Tranquil Boots just yet. He has
Gotta
enough.
stack it once more. Can I get this?
He has enough to...
oh, it's gonna be close.
Yeah, he's got it. He's fine.
That was actually sick.
Easy peasy. Now mid lane, Baby Knight here, he's just feeling really good. He's going to be third on the net worth chart. The free farming juggernaut, obviously, having a ton of last hits, having a ton of farm in that department. Warlock here with 2 raindrops. I like this. It's not like one was getting low. He just picks up 2 just to have them.
What? Okay.
What?
Interesting. Just stacking. That is pretty unusual.
Usually you wait till your raindrops at like 1 or 2 charges before you pick up another one, but
it's weird to slow down your Midas. Well, I mean, it's only like 200 gold.
Warlock punishing that Slardar, as there is going to be a finished off camp for the Centaur, so things are going really, really well for Allusions. Now, a lot of damage stolen by the Razor. He's got 100 bonus, and there's going to be a Torrent not clipping onto Baby Knight. He's able to heal himself back up, so really the only thing that's going well for Allusions is this free farming Juggernaut here. He's got himself the Poor Man's Shield and the Phase Boots. I'm curious to see if he goes into the Manta Diffusal build or if he tries to get that Battle Fury.
I would say probably Battle Fury if he has some better split pushes on his team, so they could try and make that into the case of the game.
Razor. I mean, Batrider's hitting for virtually nothing right there, but even just the fire into the Napalm, it looks like it hurts.
Top lane, they dive as well.
Oh my, this is getting bloody here. It's going to be 1-11. Imperial feeling absolutely triumphant coming out of this. I mean, if we're looking at the overall scoreboard, shame on you, Baby Knight. You dropped down once, and that gives away a perfect score.
I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad.
You know what it is? It's that 1 point in Fatal Bonds. If he had the 2 points in stats instead of just 1, totally would have lived. Just saying. No. I am just kidding.
He's going in. He's going to be getting off that max level. Oh, look at him. He's dancing. He feels good. But again, really aggressive push into top. There's not a whole lot that anyone can do up against a Centaur that's just had this much fun in lane. So again, just going. Wisp finishes off the urn, still has the bottle going, so lots of farm going that way. Wisp is still a very large amount of net worth above our mid-Razor. That hurts.
Yeah, he's been walked all over. He said rotations coming from the Batrider. He said rotations coming from the IO when he wasn't just dual laning. Like, he leaves and just comes back in, and then he got Chaotic Offering, just kind of dropped on him casually too. Really not so much you can do. Nice, good use of the Omni. Looks like it was a little bit of a chase down play past the tower.
Well, Centaur punished this though. He's going in bottom, and we all know that 50 Centaur does not mess around. When he rotates, he looks for blood here, so he's going to go ahead, just clear out the wave. Again, does have that bit of Defiance, so he's going to go back for that tanky build. Do we see him go straight into Heart next? Do we see him finish off the Pipe? Do we see him do anything with that Vanguard? Or picking up another Ring of Health, so interesting to see what happens here. If Baby Knight is going to get tethered up, he's angry. He wants to go for something. He's moving forward. Razor with that kinetic, or plasma field rather, just trying to get a little bit harassed. But there we go. The drop of the Fatal Bonds, the drop of the Shadow Word, and this Razor, he's going down to half health whether he likes it or not.
Well, I like the rotation from 50 Centaur down to the bottom lane.
Okay, he's going to knock around on by 3. He's got the Stampede, but will he actually get out in time? He's going to go ahead and pop that Casual Hood. He's turning this. There's going to be the relocate in from the Wisp. They bring in Rise as well. Oh, God, the Golems. They're going in. They kill the Kunkka. We've got our Juggernaut. He's a fish. Finger of Death dropped on him. Oh, no.
Yeah, that was unusual, I would say, because here's the whole point. You bring Centaur down. You're expecting that they're gonna shadow him probably through a smoke play, right? That's kind of standard stuff
dying,
around
by the
this
way,
time.
in that mid, just to the Shadow Word. And,
yeah.
Oh god. Okay.
Good spell.
Hester Joe is gonna get crushed up here, but that doesn't change the fact that Shadow Demon is still stuck in the fire. He goes for the self disrupt, but he's a dead man anyway. It's just Baby Knight going in, right clicking him once to get the kill. Now Hester Joe looking for a bigger prize here onto this Slardar. He's got 3 stacks of napalm, now getting ticked down by this urn. I don't think it's gonna be enough to actually kill him off. He is ticking low right there. Gets away with just so much health. Nothing more. And this tower is very vulnerable. They've got the Razor going in, but he's 0-4 against the 7-1 Warlock. It is not easy being Razor right now. He doesn't even have phase boots at this point.
Now the Midas, of course, starting to pay off more and more. We're going to be getting into our Aghanim Scepter soon. Point booster just picked up here.
Oh, man.
And they close down that tower, so Dire Side looking to take over this jungle. Again, they don't have the best Roche taking capabilities. They pretty much have to use golems. Not that that wouldn't be worth it, I suppose, but what they have to now is smoke play. They have the blink. I'd be pretty fearful if I was on the Radiant right now, just saying.
Yeah, I think fearful is a gentle word. I'd be really rattled. There's going to be the Juggernaut. Again, he does have the Omni at the ready. It's only level 1, but we'll see if he's actually able to get a small pick. I mean, he could definitely solo down the Lion, the Bat, the Wisp, any of these smaller targets. Juggernaut is going to be going in for the Yasha, so early Manta for him. Just getting that Manta Diffusal, early fighting build, but it's now 12 minutes in, and he doesn't even have the completed Yasha.
Yeah, and it looks like he might be dead here again. Hester Joe's eyeing it.
50 Centaur, he's waddling back, and there's going to be A nice little lasso there into a stomp. I mean, this guy is just completely controlled. He's helpless. He burns down. Hesta Jonah on a killing spree. The tier 2 is taken. Over here in the mid, the tier 1, not long for this world. There's going to be a rotation in from the Shadow Demon. Just trying to buy himself some time, but I mean, this is just slowly but surely Imperial walking all over Allusions. Overall net worth is going to be about 12,000 in favor of the Dire at 12 minutes in.
As they say, the uncomebackable.
D.
I do believe that is... Oh, is he living? I guess he lived.
D.
Not sure if he was concerned about dying.
D for death. Okay. Anyway, there is going to be the Batrider just now feeling completely comfortable at 13 minutes in, farming up the Radiant side of the map. Radiant are essentially confined to their fountain right now. Yeah, they're going to be going into this top lane. Juggernaut getting a little bit of farm, just clearing out that wave and heading back into the fountain. Razor, though, I mean, he's sitting on Phase Boots, Windlace, Aquila. He's got 5-minute items at almost 15 minutes in the game.
I'm waiting to see if, speaking of items, if Ace is going to be, like, super try-hard and get, like, a Lotus Orb this game.
And he's got that perseverance.
That would be pretty try-hard.
What happens if you have a Lotus Orb and Razor links you? Does it just, is there no damage?
You start linking Razor, so yeah, it does nothing.
Okay.
Unless, yeah, exactly.
So you're just, like, passing damage back and forth forever?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the Pugna Rubik.
Oh, God. Yeah. You just drain each other until you're both full.
Yeah. Kind of look at each other the whole time, doing nothing. It's great. I mean, I guess with that one, though, that actually comes down to who has the higher int, right? You actually do more damage if you have a higher int.
The return
changes.
damage onto the tower is doing almost as much damage as the tower is doing to 50 Centaur here. He is just having the time of his life, and the rest of the team smoked up. They're able to put down a little bit of vision here into the Dire side of the map, but they're not able to find any picks just yet.
Oh, what a try-hard, honestly.
Oh, 50 Centaur, boy, gets that Lotus Orb. Now, Wisp is going to be in some trouble there. It gets linked up. 50 Centaur might just bail on this, because Wisp is not there to relocate anyone else in, so Wisp is actually going to go relocate himself out. There's going to be a ghost ship tossed through from the Kunkka. Now 50 Centaur will get disrupted up right as he goes for that stomp. He could be in a little trouble here. He's super, super tanky, but now with the Wisp coming back in after that relocate, it's not looking good. Nice flame break, though. 5 heroes are going to be splatted apart, and there's going to be a beautiful chaotic offering. Everyone's linked together. Everyone's getting low. It's a massacre here. Yeah, they lose their Centaur and their Wisp, but they trade for 4. Shadow Demon, the only survivor, is able to TP home from this high ground. So that was, in the end, still a good fight for Imperial, even though it should have been the best setup possible for Illusions.
Yeah, that's one way to get an Aghanim Scepter, I'd say. Just dump some golems on an entire team.
Those golems were just... Oh,
and that's only one.
Now we got 2 golems flying in, now going to be on the courier, moving its way towards Baby Knight, so 130 more seconds. We've got 2 for the price of 1. Wouldn't be surprised to see a refresher up pre-30 minutes, because Baby Knight's just having the time of his life here. Second on the net worth chart, followed only Centaur here up on that top slot.
For the second day in a row, we get 420. So nice.
420. Woo! All right.
Guys.
GG going in. Gets the tether off from that golem, and he's still in the damage, so he's going to be hitting for 70 more, but doesn't matter if he immediately dies. There's going to be the disrupt to buy him sometime, and both coming in. Finger of Death, not going to be enough, but with the Shadow Word ticking him down with the Fatal Bonds, looks like Razor will end up following the Omni Slash. Buys a little bit of time for the Juggernaut. He's moving forward, trying to get the kill onto the Lion, but Lion can turn this around. He's got the Hex, he's got the stun. Is there follow-up damage here from the Dire? Well, looks like they're focusing on the back lines of this fight. Hesta Joe going to get crushed up by the Slardar, but this Kunkka, he is just so easily killed, and now looks like the Slardar going to be next to the menu. They get the Hex off onto the Juggernaut to buy themselves some time. They're focusing him down one by one. Beautiful, beautiful focus. Really budgeting their time here from Imperial. Baby Knight heading up onto the high ground. I mean, that spin is deadly. It's max level, but it cannot last forever here. And we are going to have the Juggernaut looking for another crit here onto Baby Knight. He's getting low, but he's still fighting, just teasing this Juggernaut, occupying him. Oh, the Wisp goes down. Nice little crit there, but Juggernaut loses his life, so still not worth. There's going to be a dump of damage onto the Lion, and Razor back in here in the trees, gets a little bit of damage. Double Edge, not going to finish off the Shadow Fiend, but there we go. There's enough burn damage from the Batrider. We are going to have our Warlock just channeling up that slow, trying to go back in onto the Razor. This is just such a messy, drawn-out fight. Illusions know it's all they've got left, but this Razor just keeps dying, and GG calls out the GG after a very difficult laning phase. Imperial looking so strong in what they're putting out.
Well, at the very least, it is a 2-game series. That was a pretty sick last pick on the Warlock.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
It was the thing about Razor. I think he can win lanes for sure. Like when Io's gone, it's really nice to make sure there's not gonna be that really good dual lane. But when you're picking him blind into no opponent, like if you think about some other mids you could have gone for, people that might be a little bit safer, like the Puck Band, for example, someone that would have been survivable, wouldn't allow someone to snowball through kills and everything. Razor is known as kind of a lane dominator, but in a lot of situations, he's picked up after he knows where the enemy mid is, or after he knows what the enemy supports are, and he knows they're not going to have a big impact on the lane. You tend to do like aggressive tri lanes or something to pull those supports down away from the mid lane and give Razor that chance for the 1v1, because we all know that's where he shines, right? He just steals your damage and he controls you. He walks you around the lane saying, okay, you need to go here, because if you don't, I'm going to get 120 damage. Had no chance to do that. Then like the off lane didn't have anything going because again, like Centaur, what a hero. Maybe banning it against Imperial might be something teams could start trying to do, but I feel like they just play it so well. Every time they seem like they had a gank attempt from Illusions, they just pop Stampede and ran away. I'll be interested to see how game 2 goes. Illusions did do fairly well in their series against Fantastic Five yesterday.
Yeah, they went 1-1, and both games are relatively close, so it's not like Illusions are, just a random pub stack. They're definitely capable of keeping up in this tournament. Imperial are just looking so strong, so far undefeated yet, so we'll have to see. They've got this series and then another series against PR later today, who's currently the top seeded in their group. That's going to be fantastic. But first, we've got game number 2 of Allusions versus Imperial. Hoping to see a Centaur ban, maybe. I think that might help out Illusions a little bit. But sit tight. It's Android Mott Packs from moonducktv. We'll be right back with game number 2 after these messages.